first Vertigo match in Pro Play has been played. It was AGL versus Nordavind. But there are some takeaways, even though the score one was like a spoiler alert. The score was 16-5 in favor of Nordavind. Well, let's start with B because in the April 2nd patch they added this box to the front of B site. So what you can do is get a smoke right here to deny any vision from the CTs peeking. They would have to commit to peeking around here, which is dangerous because one, you can be exposed from a few angles, namely this catwalk, top of the stairs, and even below. And two, this can get mollied, which didn't happen in the match, but I kind of suspected on my own. So if you want to throw this front B smoke from spawn, this is a 128 tick throw. You want to find this intersection on the floor that's like right next to this table. Down on that. And you might be able to see this shadow here. It's a bit to the left of these reinforcement things, whatever they're called. So standing there, find the shadow on the left side of it, and then aim up until you're in the middle of this gray border around the skylights, and then jump throw.
I'm laying down some smoke.
Of course, make sure these are broken. And after a little bit, it'll land relatively deep. Very nice smoke for the T's to kind of come up here and not be afraid of this angle, so they only have to worry about this catwalk and potentially the window. Now, I don't know if the timings will work out perfectly, but you should be able to get a Molotov if you run, if you run right away for it. You should just be able to get a Molotov there. I just stand against the back wall, find the left corner of this box, aim up and to the left, just some amount, and you know, you'll get this. Keep in mind that people can still sit back here and watch up here on this ledge here, so it's not like 100% safe, but it's pretty safe. You can throw this smoke on the run, which was done in the match like once or twice. I think it was Hellzerk that did it. You basically throw it off that steel beam, and it lands there. As for CT side, a lot of common sense will tell you to molly the stairs at the beginning, and that's kind of what Nordavind did. They would molly the stairs, albeit sometimes they would throw the Molotov so that lands deeper down. I don't remember their exact lineup, but it's just about around the steel beam and you know this beam here, and you should be able to get some kind of bounce that lands here. They did get support flashes from their mid players, but I'll get into that when I talk about mid. The last thing about B as a CT is that you can kind of smoke the stairs relatively safely from behind these boxes, these blue boxes. You kind of just throw it off the back wall, aiming at the height of these like vents, and it lands there. This looks odd, but you actually prevent T's from being able to push through the smoke and to try to get this ledge pressure. So you can throw that smoke and kind of watch the top of it to make sure no one really pushes you. Of course, you could aim higher, maybe even at the beams, like the third beam, and you'll probably get like a higher up smoke. You don't actually want this though, because then T's can kind of creep into the smoke. What they can also do is, if it's too high up, they can actually see themselves very easily to get on the ledge here and walk around it. Working around the A site, we saw a lot of walking XX, kind of like Mirage, where you just like throw 3 smokes and you go. One exec that I believe it was Nordavind that did this. One of them stood here and aimed at this corner over there and threw a smoke. Another teammate would stand like hugging him to the left, and they would throw a smoke around, I believe it was like right here, maybe a little higher. So something like this red beam up to like this corner of the yellow crane. And this makes a nice backside wall, but basically you create a full wall for backside, and then you only have to worry about side hall. So maybe throw these, something like that. Now you only have to worry about this left hallway, which can be relatively easily Molotovs. You can just kind of throw something over there. Another strat, I believe, I want to say AGO did this, but I can't remember anymore. They would sit behind the sandbag and aim at the bottom of this metal thing there, and that gives you a side hall smoke. Or a left, I don't know, left hallway smoke? Side hall? Whatever, elevator room. And in my mind, if you combine that with like something like this and that, this is actually a really nice wall. You just have to clear top default and then top of back site, and potentially back yellow this angle. Although I don't think you can actually see anything from up here. You throw these three smokes, excuse me, and I think they Molotov the back as well. Something like this, just to deny a little bit of rotates. And then they would just run in and basically clear anyone close. And to some extent they would wrap to here, but that's like as far as they would go, and then just plant. They would plant, and then they start holding the flank, which is very advantageous. On the CT side of things, what a lot of CTs, specifically Nordavind, would do is throw a smoke like right at the front, something like this. This kind of makes the T's a little nervous to push up because they don't want to push through the smoke. If you throw it closer, what you can do is one way on top of default, like so. This, I call this default, by the way. The blue boxes on each site. You can kind of sit here. If you have time to set up a position, you can actually just self-boost on the back sight box here. Kind of sit like that. I think it was Rubino who sat himself like so. Oops. The center of your crosshair can just barely pass this little metal thing that sticks out until you have to be a little bit worried about falling off the map and dying. So about here. I don't know if this angle actually works because the CT model is a little like larger and it really doesn't feel like this is enough cover. Regardless though, it kind of worked only because the round that they could have encountered it, there was a smoke right here. Or it was a little deeper, but it made it very hard to see this person anyway. Finally, the most important part, let's talk about mid. A few things. For the most part, CTs would run a 1-3-1. Mid control was very important to the CTs, and most rounds they would actually have time to swing out here, get a molly down, and kind of just like fall back, so that the CT can play an angle like this. AGO found themselves behind a Molotov for most of the rounds. They would just like get stuck here and have to burn a smoke in order to swing. They didn't seem to know about this flash either. But anyway, as far as CT side goes, they actually didn't throw like this kind of smoke at all. They always Molotoved it. So it seems like you have time to get this Molotov off safely no matter what. But they kind of just like set this player up in sandbag, really. That was like one of the biggest, most common things that the CTs did. The B support player actually threw a flash like so. This is what they did in game. So they kind of like stood around this corner, aimed at top of the sandbag by this like the level of the pallet that's slanted, and jump throw. Again, 128 tick. This basically blinds everyone on B, or trying to push B. Very good for your B anchor player. I did a little bit of testing and found that if you actually aim at the bottom left corner of the sandbag, so like right here, do a little walk step and throw, it's like marginally better. Well, I would say massively better, because it lands in front of the box. It still blinds all the T's coming up here, but it doesn't blind your B anchor player. It's gonna land behind this box here, so he can swing if you really wanted to and kind of do something like that, or whatever he wants to do. There were 1 or 2 rounds where the CT is boosted on these boxes. This is I suspect that this is a pretty okay angle, even though this can catch the block guard. And of course, the smoke, I think, in my opinion, is very powerful. The T's are kind of just like stuck here. They can't do anything. They can drop to go to A, but At that rate, you're giving CTs mid, which means you give CTs access to elevator room. So, kind of risky. I think AGO didn't put enough attention towards mid. They didn't really like try to burn all the utility that the CTs would throw, which was not a lot to begin with. I saw a smoke like this. I think that can be a very good setup smoke for CTs to get out of this choke point here. You can also, you know, get a Molotov for behind sandbag. You can actually come out here and start clearing things relatively like decently. And when the smoke fades, I don't think I put the video out yet, but you can start getting smokes down like so. One last thing I didn't mention for the B site player is you can throw a Molotov through this very small crack here, and it actually lands into connector, this connector area here. If you line yourself so that the back window, this window in the back, is inside this gap here, and you just throw, it's actually going to land inside the connector. If you throw it higher, you'll probably get it to land like really just in the back. Yeah, something like that. That's super good. We didn't see many B executes happen this match on Vertigo. I think people also haven't really figured out a good execute to run because it's a little awkwardly laid out, this map. My idea is something like this. Something that can do 3 smokes like that, and then molly right there, maybe a little deeper. And now you just fight the site. I don't know how to throw these smokes, so I can't really say how you can do it, but that is just an idea. I do anticipate higher level teams to focus more on mid. AGO didn't really play this map very strategically. They kind of pugged it out. Nordavind's CT side was, I liked it. It was good. Was it excellent? I don't know, because I don't know if that was the best way to play. I think it is right now, but again, this is early into the map. People haven't really thought about it, figured it out, played it, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching.